Hello and welcome to VTV News, brought to you by VTV International. I am Minh Hằng, and let's now get started with the headlines we have for you. Ho Chi Minh City benefits from shortened FDI registration time. And Vietnam to raise awareness on child labor. Now, in the first news today, the textile and garment sector maintained stable export growth in the first 5 months of 2014 compared with the same period last year, and continued to stand among the top sectors in terms of export value. According to data released by the Ministries of Industries and Trade, in the first 5 months, the sector's export value reached $7.44 billion, a rise of 17% over the same period last year. In terms of export value, textile and garments are ranked second after telephones and components. The U.S. continue to be the largest export market, followed by Japan, the Republic of Korea, Germany, and Spain. Export to smaller markets, including the United Arab Emirates, Mexico, Hungary, Australia, and Canada, also increased sharply. Coffee from the Central Highland province of Đắk Lắk is now exported to more than 60 countries and territories around the globe. Among them, 31 markets have an export value of more than $1 million each, while 13 more have reached in excess of $10 million each, including Germany, Japan, and the United States. Since 2008, total coffee exports from the province have reached more than $3.5 billion. In the first quarters of 2014 alone, total coffee exports hit $260 million, far outpacing the $600 million for all of 2013. Đắk Lắk leads the country's coffee cultivation with more than 200,000 hectares that cover 40% of the Central Highlands and account for 30% of the country's plantation. It produces around 400,000 tons of coffee bean each year. Still in the economic fronts, since the beginning of the year, Ho Chi Minh City has attracted $820 million of FDI, which is 4.5 times as much as last year. This figure makes up a seventh of the total registered investment capital into Vietnam and is a result of specific mechanisms implemented by city authorities, including a shortened FDI registration time. These reductions in the FDI process is precursors to the implementations of online investment registrations in the city.
Upon completing their research into investment conditions in the region, the investors behind Swiss Post Solutions Limited selected Ho Chi Minh City because of its stability and safety.
Population with high skills, with everybody could write and read, and no conflicts, a safe country, so that make Vietnam for the first choice to invest. The second, Ho Chi Minh City, I honestly feel better in the south as in the north.
Investment licensing has improved greatly, especially in the swift support provided by personnel at the city's Department of Investment and Planning. They are very happy to explain things, and registration time is much faster now. Ho Chi Minh City applied the 4 shades of transparency solution in investment registration.
We created transparency in procedures, time, and results. We also made a detailed guide which is attached to the application form and has been publicized at the department as well as online.
Applicant investors also receive frequent updates by email.
Soon we'll suggest the removal of investment licensing, whose drawbacks far outweigh its benefits. We'll seek approval for investment incentives instead.
With this innovation, Ho Chi Minh City recently attracted $1 billion investment from Samsung, who will build a factory within the city, thus creating many jobs directly as well as those jobs indirectly created by the support industries, which will supply the factory with materials and logistics.
A draft decree on unprecedented incentives for the fisheries sectors was discussed at the government's monthly meeting on May the 29. Among the incentives under discussions was a credit package to build, maintain and upgrade fishing vessels. The question is how to use this package efficiently to advance the fisheries sector.
Two methods of lending are now open to discussion. The first is for enterprises to borrow money to build fishing vessels and then assign them to fishermen. Profits will be divided between the two sides. The other is to loan the money directly to the fishermen. The second method seems preferable to fishermen at Hanre Port in the central province of Kaiwan.
If the ship is mine, I can use it whenever I want. I can take a break whenever I need. If it is owned by a company, I will have to follow their schedule. The government should give incentives directly to the fishermen. It's better that way.
For fishermen who spend more days at sea than on land, their ships are their homes. Whether the ships are bought out of their own savings or loans from the government, the fishermen would feel more attached and engaged if they had their own boats.
It's better if we have fishermen borrow money to build ships. Some fishermen already have their own ships. If the money is lent to enterprises, hardly anyone would be encouraged to commit themselves.
However, lending the money to enterprises has its own merits. Take ocean tuna as an example. 2,000 tuna fishing vessels is not a small number, but by no means sufficient for the sector. Outdated and low-capacity vessels are the contributory factors to the poor quality of tuna. The Vietnam Tuna Association suggests selecting the most competent ship owners out of these 2,000 ships to reorganize the sector. Those chosen will be the first to receive credit. In other words, the credit package should not be distributed widely in the beginning. There should be a roadmap which should start by lending to enterprises.
Businesses have managerial skills, so it's better to loan the money to them. Fishermen will then be given chances to work on more modern ships. Fishing will be more efficient, and they can earn better incomes.
The two different methods point to one important common task: to identify the right borrowers so that the credit can be used effectively. If done right, the credit will help the sector avoid the mistakes made in previous efforts to support offshore fishermen.
Exotic Vietnam is an intriguing blend of many charms. This land is where all manner of stunning landscapes await like a visual feast, rivaled only by the beauty of its people and their abundantly rich tradition and culture. Here is where you can relive the past in richest color or live it up in the bright lights of the big city. With so much more to offer, Vietnam is simply unforgettable.
Welcome back to VTV News. Now, as billions of people prepared for the opening of the 2014 FIFA Football World Cup in Brazil on June the 12th, the International Labour Organizations, or ILO, will launch its 2014 Red Card to Child Labour campaign. With 168 million children in child labour worldwide, the ILO will use the iconic Red Card symbol to signal that child labour is something that is unacceptable. Together with international footballers and celebrities, national team striker Lê Công Vinh will hold up the red card and join the campaign against child labor. Vietnam currently has 1.7 million child laborers aged from 5 to 17. Now, although the Vietnamese government has issued laws and regulations on child labor, there are still about 1.75 million children aged from 5 to 17 in the country who go out to work each day, as we just mentioned. Many people are still encouraging this as they think that it is good for children to support their families. Our following report will show you that this mindset needs to change.
Hoàng Văn Kế is a man in his 30s. But he's already a veteran in his job with more than 2 decades of experiences. Gay lives in a traditional handicraft commune where it's normal for families to allow their kids to start work at an early age.
My family was quite poor when I was little, so I had to start work when I was 11. Now most parents don't need economic support from their kids anymore, but the kids are still forced to work to avoid getting involved in social problems.
A good kid is a kid who avoids social evils by working hard to support his family is a common way of thinking across the country, especially in rural areas. Both the parents and employers think this way, so many children are forced to work from a young age.
From our survey, we realized that many small businesses don't even have the right conception about child labor. That is just one of the reasons why children are working, while another is that parents keep sending their kids to work. Changing people's mindset and raising their awareness play an important role in solving the problem of child labor. The international organization has launched a campaign called Red Card to Child Labor, with the participation of famous football players worldwide, including Công Vinh in Vietnam.
Hoàng Văn Kỳ employs a group of adolescents in his workshop. It is normal and legal for them to learn a trade and earn some money from part-time jobs, but it is also important to stop them from being abused and protect their childhoods.
The International Russian Language Olympiad is taking place at the Pushkin State Russian Language Institute in Moscow this week. This event marked the 215th birthday of the great Russian poet Alexander Pushkin and the 4th anniversary of the UN Russian Language Day. After various competitions involving over 200 contestants from 29 countries, the Vietnamese participants can be proud of their achievements.
This is the first time Vietnam has taken part in the International Russian Language Olympiad in 10 years. Vietnamese team achieved 3 gold medals and 2 silver medals, as well as first prizes for young speaker and young poetry reciter. This year's contest witnessed great efforts by Vietnamese students and teachers because we were informed about the Olympiad a bit late, so we had 3 weeks to prepare. In this year's competition, Vietnamese candidates were said to have a strong proficiency of the Russian language and surprised some of the judges. The examiners were quite impressed by the Vietnamese students' answers. They find it hard to believe that those students learn Russian in Vietnam. I'm grateful that Vietnamese teachers of Russian have trained such excellent students. The Vietnamese delegates came from various parts of the country and tried their best as the country's representatives in this international competition.
I am very happy because my teammates did well. I am so proud to represent Vietnam at this International Olympiad.
The Russian language was once quite popular in Vietnam, and recently, as the relationship between the two countries has intensified, teaching and learning Russian has become a growing trend in many Vietnamese schools, with an emphasis on using it for specific purposes to meet society's demands.
And now, as usual, before saying goodbye, let's take a look at our updated weather forecast. The weather forecast has brought us to the end of VTV News. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you would like to rewatch this program, simply log on to our address at vtv4.vn. For now, goodbye from Hanoi.